Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Crypto Marco yet again with another awesome video on the topic of cryptocurrencies. The currency your friendly bank employee from around the corner told you to stay away from because he said that they're very sketchy. Oh my god. And in this video we're gonna talk about the top picks for the currencies you wanna invest in 2018. But keep in mind that I'm not a financial advisor and this is just my subjective point of view, my point of view that I got through research and analysis. So do your own research at the end of the day. And whether or not you enjoy this video or learn something from it, I just wanted to say thank you very much and that I appreciate you for being on my channel. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a thumbs up because that would be just great. And let's get into it. So as you can see right now, market cap is setting a new all-time high. What a big fucking surprise. Every day, two-digit amounts of billions of dollars are coming into the global chart. As you can see, it's going up and up. And although the market cap is going up, the Bitcoin dominance is not that high. So it used to be at 60% before Segway 2X got canceled, but now it looks kind of different. Ethereum is also on the rise with $473. Like Ethereum is just going crazy right now at the moment. And for me, that's also one of the reasons why at the moment I would not buy Ethereum, because I think that most of the cryptocurrencies are really overvalued. And I mean, I wasn't participating in stocks in the year 2000. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even like able to speak English in that year. I mean, I was born, but back then, companies that didn't have customers or their first official orders were valued at more value than big companies that were there for decades, and that's when the dot-com bubble bursted. But companies that had a real value and were somewhere in the middle of this bubble, such as Apple, were definitely struck by the dot-com bubble, but in the long run, they showed how valuable their service and their goods are, and provided whoever invested into that company with a nice financial gain. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, when you're thinking of investing in companies, you should keep in mind what Warren Buffett said. When everybody's greedy, it's time to be cheap, and when everybody's cheap, it's time to be greedy. I think I didn't. The quote isn't like exactly like that, but somewhat in a way. So right now, everybody's being greedy. Everybody tries to ride the bull. Everybody tries to make as much profit as possible because, as you can see, most cryptocurrencies in the top 11 are increasing by 2 digits. And for example, I made a video on Lisk, and Lisk is a startup with like how much? I don't know how many. Like they don't have such a big team, but like a startup that has the idea of decentralized applications, which is definitely interesting and definitely has some applicational value in the future. But is it really worth 1 billion? Is it like worth to invest 1 billion into this company? I'm not sure about that. So right now, if you're looking to invest into something, I would not invest into Ethereum right now, for example. It's just overvalued. Like wait for the next dip when it's cheap to go in. Just be patient and you'll be good. So without further ado, let's get into the goddamn list, but into the list of top 10 picks for 2018. And number one, and this is just a random order. It's not like number one is the best. So number one is gonna be for me Litecoin. One of those coins I would not invest in right now because it's at the peak, obviously, and probably is gonna correct itself really soon. Basically, if Bitcoin is the gold, Litecoin is the silver, and it's just faster and cheaper. But you know, kind of at the end of the day, after thinking about I put Litecoin on my list, but now when I'm talking about it, I come to the realization that is that really the only thing that Litecoin is better at? Because there are many coins or tokens that are faster and cheaper than Bitcoin to send. So I'm not sure if that's going to be enough for Litecoin in the long run, but maybe I'm also mistaken and I don't know a lot about Litecoin. It's probably the case, and Litecoin has some great applicational value that I just don't know. So but definitely Litecoin is one of, in my opinion, every coin or token that is faster and cheaper than Bitcoin is supposedly is interesting for next year. The next one is Vertcoin, the Robin Hood among all cryptocurrencies. And what's interesting about Vertcoin, like on the website they say it's the coin of the people. It can't be mined by professional mining rigs or companies. It can only be mined on desktop PCs because they're using 5 different algorithms. I don't know how that they're doing that, what's keeping those 5 algorithms from professional miners, but that's all I know from the website. And as you can see, started off really good, then plummeted back to like, how much? 1 cent? Went back to somewhere here. It was at 30 cents, 3 cents, and now Vertcoin was at $4. So Vertcoin, one of my picks for 2018. Then let's talk about Monero. So as you know, information, anonymity, and digital security is going to be extremely important in the next few decades. And with cryptocurrencies, we have a great kind of medium for sending money without exposing our identity or how much we own. And not only that, but it's also fast and cheap. And Monero, I made a video on Monero, so if you want to check it out, go ahead. I made a video on Monero, and Monero is the king among being untraceable and unhackable. So I recommend the Wikipedia page of Monero because you get a great explanation on how the chain mechanism works. It's something, ring, or I don't know. But basically, you can use Monero to cut off a Bitcoin transaction to make your transactions untraceable. Because if somebody is nifty enough to trace back a few Bitcoin payments, he's not gonna see who has a certain Bitcoin account, but he's gonna be able to see how much that person has on their wallet, for example, or how much they own. And that might be a big problem if you own a lot. If you don't own a lot, it's probably not gonna bite you. But in a time where anonymity and security is so important, I think that Monero has a lots of potential. Next one is a coin that is currently in the ICO phase. Name's Crypto20, and Crypto20 is basically an idea that I had for cryptocurrencies a few days ago, and now I saw, okay, somebody already put that idea into practice. So kudos to whoever did that. And C20 is kind of an index fund for the top 20 cryptocurrencies on the market. And when you're investing, like when you go to your bank and you're investing your money into funds, what it basically does is you don't have to pick every single stock. You only pay a certain industry. You only pick a certain country or region, and then the fund kind of has all of these companies from a certain industry or from a certain region within them. This also comes with a fee, so the manager wants a shitload of money, and basically over the years, the compound effect is a very important factor in accumulating wealth. And if you're paying a lot of fees, those fees are killing the money that you're making. Basically, if you say you have a index fund and you're paying 3% interest rates on that, plus you have 2% inflation rate, your index fund has to make at least 5% a year to just go break even. And not a lot index funds do 5% a year every year. So that's why you have to be very cautious with fees. And one of the big advantages of Crypto20 is that the fees, the industry standard for index funds is 3%, but Crypto20, obviously, because it gets managed by the blockchain and everything is done by computers, only 0.2% fees per year, which is amazing. I won't go into the team because I don't want to get too much in depth on this. But here you can see a graph on how the biggest 20 cryptocurrencies develop compared to the other cryptocurrencies. And as you can see, the 20 biggest currencies do make a difference. So an interesting ICO to participate in. I think it's powered by, they accept Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Litecoin, which is something very convenient. And it's starting in 5 days. So I'm quite curious. I think I might do a video in 1 year, like check up on my predictions on these cryptocurrencies, how they work out. And I'm really curious on how C20 is going to perform. Next on the list is Powerledger, and this is a startup from Australia, mate. So best regards to everybody from Australia watching. A lot of friends of mine like to go there. So Powerledger is a decentralized peer-to-peer energy exchange trading platform. Basically, when you're creating your own energy with solar panels or tidal waves, I don't know if that's the correct word, or wind energy, and you have too much of that. The problem with energy is that it has to be, it has to go somewhere once it's generated, and it's hard to save that energy. So what Powerledger's idea is to enable people via the blockchain technology to feed the electricity that they have not used back into the grid, which is not a new idea, but on top of the blockchain, it might have some interesting applicational value in the next few years. Richard Branson invested in it, so that's already a very interesting fact that Richard Branson invested in somebody in a cryptocurrency, and even the Australian government invested 8 million Australian dollars into that. Plus, on top of that, so I made a video on Powerledger, so go ahead if you want to check it out. Plus, Bill Tai is a board advisor, and as you know, when Bill Tai shows up somewhere, that's a good sign in most cases. And what you also have to keep in mind is that I was talking earlier about value that certain cryptocurrencies or platforms are offering to people. So imagine what, I mean, if you're watching my video, you're probably in the first world somewhere. So you have water, you have electricity, you have a roof above your head. So you're not aware of the fact that most people in the third world don't have access to all of those resources. And imagine what whole countries could do if they choose to use Powerledger to put energy that was not used back into the grid. Like, imagine if the wealth of one country could be transferred into another country that is maybe poorer and enable people who don't have access to energy to have energy all of a sudden. It's kind of a complex thought, but as you know, medicine is getting better and better, nutrition is getting better and better, education is getting better, and the third world countries are making big steps forward. So it's only a matter of time when they're going to stop being third world countries, when we're not going to have stuff like that. And imagine Powerledger providing every country that is a third world country today with that system. So I think that Powerledger might be about to explode in the near future. But it's going to be so interesting to see what's going to happen in 1 year. Next one is Lisk. Lisk is based on the Neo blockchain, which the great thing about Lisk is that Lisk uses JavaScript, so it's a programming language that most programmers know. If you're unfamiliar with that, Solidity is the programmer language that Ethereum uses, so it's very special, and you have to Basically, if you want to get into Ethereum, it's quite a challenge to get into it. But everybody knows JavaScript, so that's easy. And Lisk is wants to be a decentralized platform for decentralized apps. So Google Store or Apple Store, they're charging on every transaction that's being made, and people who want to sell apps have to obey certain rules. So Lisk is like, oh, that sucks. We want to be the Apple Store or the Google Store for decentralized apps. If I understood that correctly, maybe somebody who's working at Lisk could correct me on what your idea is. In any case, a little concern I have of Lisk is that it's a startup from a small town in Germany, and this has like almost 1 billion in market cap. And I'm just thinking, is like such a small company really worth 1 billion? As I said earlier, I think that many cryptocurrencies right now are overrated, that a correction is coming soon, but maybe Lisk is gonna be very interesting in the near future. Who knows? Next on the Lisk, is RedPulse. And what RedPulse tries to solve is the problem that with cryptocurrencies, you have so much information pouring in that is being unfiltered into the internet, and RedPulse wants to reward market watchers and experts for providing great information and great content by paying them with their RedPulse tokens. So as you can see, on the hard facts on RedPulse aren't that interesting. Like, it's not one of those currencies that completely exploded, but the concept is very interesting, and there's not a lot of competition. The competition that is out there isn't working that well, so I think that RedPulse has some great potential for the near future. But that's just my gut feeling and subjective, so I'm not a financial advisor, and keep that in mind, please. Then Cardano. Cardano is the absolute nerd among cryptocurrencies, and is being, right now, as you can see, it's launched on the 1st of October, so it's very young, not even 2 months old, but very cheap. So you could get into Cardano really quickly on Bittrex. And the cool thing about Cardano and why it's so interesting, in my opinion, is because there are a lot of academics on board. So the white paper of Cardano looks like rocket science, definitely. And the guy behind Cardano is Charles Hoskinson, and Charles Hoskinson was one of the CEOs who was at the Ethereum board in 2013. So maybe he was even one of the CEOs. And a little side note, I wanna know input output Hong Kong. Yes, this is the company of Charles Hoskinson, the Ethereum CEO, who is also behind Cardano. And just go on their page and just try out this crazy flare with colors, and it's just amazing. I know it doesn't have anything to do with cryptocurrencies, but I could do this for hours, seriously. So Cardano right now, I have it on my list, and I made a little star behind it because I think that you can buy Cardano right now for such a cheap price. I mean, it's not that much, although there's a lot of Cardano circulating. But as you can see, the value hasn't changed a lot since it was issued for the first time. So I think that Cardano, because it's managed by Charles Hoskinson, because it's the nerd among cryptocurrencies that's tackling all the problems that cryptocurrencies currently have, I think that Cardano is one of those companies that could really go to the moon next year. The next one is, again, an ICO that yet has to happen, but it's Indahash. I made a video on Indahash, so go check that out if you wanna. Indahash is a platform. It's an app, and it's a app where which the CEO got a prize for young entrepreneur of the year, and it's basically a platform which is enabling big companies such as McDonald's or I'm on the ICO page right now, I'm sorry. So it's enabling big companies such as McDonald's, KFC, Nivea, whatever, to approach 380,000 different social media influencers and place campaigns and basically they only say what they want, what kind of campaigns they like, what influencer to choose, and then Indahash does the rest. So as you know, classic commercials on the TV are dying out. Nobody's paying attention to billboards. People are installing ad blockers on YouTube, and so many young people are listening to these influencers when they're making choices on what to buy. Me personally, I try to stay away from social media. I try to keep it as private as possible and only share things with my family. But as you know, many, especially young people, love these social media influencers, and I think that's the marketing of the future, even though I'm not the biggest fan of social media. And as you can see, they have 380,000 influencers on board already, 32 million likes. So it's definitely no child's play, what is going on in here. And the ICO is gonna be in, I think you have to pay with Ethereum. It's gonna be in 3 days, and this is a hot CEO of Indahash. So I wish you good luck, Barbara. Okay, let's continue with the next one. And oh, this is the last one of the list. So right now I'm talking like this is the 10th cryptocurrency, and this is like one of the cryptocurrencies I have actually invested in. Substratum has a great YouTube channel where you can see how passionate the developers are. It's a small team of developers from Dallas, I think. And what they're trying to do is to create a decentralized internet. So right now, when you're buying a domain, you have to buy it, you have to host it somewhere. And if for example, a certain government isn't agreeing on what you're saying, they could ban you. So we have seen that in China, we have seen that in Arabian countries. And that's a big problem, because that is not the way where net neutrality should go, and it's against free speech. So investing in Substratum is, in my opinion, investing in free speech. That's also why I put in a little bit of money, and I'm very curious on where this project will go. In my opinion, creating something that is a decentralized internet is a brilliant idea, and if they pull it off, if it goes well, you're gonna be able to have your own websites that are not gonna be where people or governments won't be able to take them off. And I think that institutions such as security institutions or governments will have great interest in that. So Substratum, I'm repeating myself, but Substratum might be a company that's gonna go to the moon next year. I'm gonna definitely set up a date for the 25th of November next year to see how all of these cryptocurrencies developed in 365 days. And I hope you have enjoyed this video. Sorry if it was a little bit long at some point, but I tried to convey as much value as possible, and I hope that you have learned something from here. If you did, make sure to leave it a thumbs up, or if you have a question, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to leave your Litecoin address, because once a week on every Sunday I'm giving away a small amount of Litecoin. So tomorrow I'm going to announce the next winner. If you want to participate, just leave a comment with some feedback or a question, whatever, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Right now I'm making videos on currencies that are interesting, ICOs, and how to do cryptocurrencies in general. But the bulk of my income comes from BitConnect right now. That's also why my BitConnect tab was open the whole time. I haven't seen it. I saw it too late. So yeah, thank you very, very much for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciated you being here. I hope you have learned something. I hope you have a lot of success with your trades and you stay healthy, and everybody in your family stays healthy. And thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.